So what's it like to work at Planet Fitness? Well, in this video, I'm excited to reveal the top 5 best things and the top 5 worst things that I experienced in the 3 years I worked at Planet Fitness. And stay tuned till the end for the special lunk alarm secret that you might not know. And Planet Fitness is a franchise company. I worked at the largest franchise owned by NFP, or National Fitness Partners, and they own over 200 Planet Fitness locations. Wow. And I understand that because it's a franchise, experiences might be a little different at every Planet Fitness, and someone else's experience may be different than mine. But I'm just going to tell you about the best and worst of the time that I worked at Planet Fitness. And I worked there from 2020 through 2023, and boy, was it an interesting ride. Let's get started with the top 5 best things that I loved about working there. Number 1 is the people and the connections. I love hearing all about everyone's fitness journey, whether someone was trying to lose weight or if someone was trying to gain muscle. I loved hearing about their struggles that they would share with me and their successes that they would share with me. It just felt so amazing to be a part of that, to be a part of their lives and a part of their transformations. I always tried to feel like I created an environment at the gym that was very positive and encouraging. I did get emotional a few times. There was one member in particular that stands out for me, Pam. And I helped Pam sign up for her gym membership. And when I asked her about her fitness goals, she told me that she wanted to be able to pick up her grandkids. That was her fitness goal. And it really impacted me a lot. She wasn't working out for looks or for vanity. She wanted to get stronger so that she could physically be there for someone else. And that was so special. So I helped Pam sign up for her gym membership, and I saw her progress. She came in often. She was lifting weights, getting stronger. And I remember the day that she came. Sorry. I remember the day that she came in and she said, "Guess what, Corena? I did it. I picked him up today and I put him in his car seat." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, wow. That was so exciting." And that is a moment that I will never forget, is that special moment where she shared with me her amazing fitness goal and what she had been able to achieve. And I actually have so many other stories that are similar, where I saw the progression and I saw people improving themselves and improving their lives. And I loved being a part of that. It was truly amazing. Yeah. Okay. Okay, on to the next thing. The next thing that I actually enjoyed about the people and the connections is the networking. I got to know so many different kinds of people from different backgrounds and different jobs, and that was wonderful. If I needed a mechanic, if I needed an electrician, heck, if I needed a nail artist or an esthetician, there was one at Planet Fitness, because so many different types of people would come and work out there. And I truly enjoyed the variety of people that I spoke with and the advice that I was able to get from people. So I really liked the amount of people that I was able to talk to. I mean, we would have 1,000 people roll through on a Monday. Not kidding. So there was a lot of people, but I loved that. It was all different kinds of people, and that was fantastic. The last part that I enjoyed, as far as the people and the connections, was the joke of the day. Whenever the members would come in for their workout, I would always have a joke ready to tell them before their workout. And the members loved it, and they would always stop by the front desk and say, "Okay, Corena, what's the joke today? And it was actually the Planet Fitness members that encouraged me to start my YouTube channel. So be sure you thank the Planet Fitness members for the creation of CoreniaBug. There was actually one member in particular, Mark, and he was so funny. He would always act like my jokes were the worst thing ever, but he would still stop by the desk every day and he would say, "Okay, lay it on me." And we had such a fun banter back and forth, where I would tell him the jokes, he would make fun of me and tell me how awful they were. But it was so fun, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Another fun thing I would do is every Sunday, I would ask the members the Sunday Fun Day question. And it was always just a silly question to get the members really thinking, like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Does a straw have one hole or two? Maybe, I don't know, just some kind of silly question, and it was a great way to encourage engagement with the members, got people really talking with me and joking with me. So I was a big fan of the Sunday Fun Day question. And usually in the following days or the next week, people were always saying, "So which answer won?" And that was just another fun thing that I really liked about working there, was just, again, that fun engagement that I was able to enjoy with people. Okay. On to number 2. The number 2 thing that I really loved about working at Planet Fitness was the activity level that I was able to have every day. It is a job that requires a lot of movement, and we were always doing lots of cleaning and floor checks. So if you're thinking about working at Planet Fitness, be ready for a lot of cleaning. But I really didn't mind because it got me out from behind the desk. I was able to move and be active throughout the day. So I really didn't mind. And Planet Fitness, the upper management has this thing they call BER, which means Brand Excellence Review. And upper management will come in and inspect your club and give you a score based on how clean it is. And we would get super competitive with the other clubs in our area to see who could get the best score at their club for the cleanliness. And it might seem like a silly thing to be competitive about, but I really enjoyed it, and I always wanted our club to win. So that was just a fun way to, change up the cleaning and try to make it a fun thing rather than a lame thing. The other thing that would keep me moving throughout the day were our floor checks. Every 15 minutes, an employee is supposed to do a floor check where you take a hole out all around the gym. You're looking for sanitation bottles that need filling, or paper towels that need filling, or maybe equipment that somebody left out and you need to put that away so nobody trips over it. But I was always raising my hand volunteering for those walkarounds, for those floor checks, because, again, it kept me moving, got me out from behind the desk for a little while, and I enjoyed getting all those steps in and moving around the gym all day. Also, I got to, again, interact with members during the time I was walking around. Now that I work a desk job and I'm sitting for most of the day, I kind of honestly miss the days whenever it was easy peasy to get those 10,000 steps in. So something definitely I took for granted now that I'm sitting for most of my day. Yeah. Okay, number 3. My third favorite thing about working at Planet Fitness was the leadership training. They actually did a really good job of offering online courses you could take, in-person training camps you could go to. As I was working my way up into lower management, they really taught me how to communicate better with my team and to create a positive work environment where everyone could work together. We're all striving for the same goals. And I thoroughly appreciate all of the great leadership training that I received from Planet Fitness. They do an amazing job with that. Some of it's cheesy, all the videos that you watch and online training. I understand it can be a little cheesy, but if you guys know me all, You know I'm all about the cheese. So I did not mind that at all. So great leadership training. I appreciate it. Also, another thing in regards to leadership is just the team that I had with me. I enjoyed so many of the people that I worked with, and I actually forged several friendships with people that I still talk to and still hang out with. So if you guys are watching, I love you guys. Okay. Number 4, the fourth best thing that I enjoy about working at Planet Fitness was the music. We had this system called the Rockbot, which was pretty cool. It's an app that you can download on your phone, and then you can choose what music plays over the loudspeaker. And surprisingly, there were a lot of members that just did not utilize this feature. I think it's because a lot of people wear their headphones, and so they're just listening individually to whatever music they would like to hear during their workout. And I kind of get that. When you have your headphones in, helps you focus in on your workout, stay in the zone. But since the members were not really utilizing it, then the staff would take full advantage of the Rockbot. And we could listen to, whatever music was kind of getting us pumped up for that day. My favorite was actually Sunday morning. I had a lot of older members that were coming in Sunday morning, and they really enjoyed the 70s music and the 80s rock music, which I also am a big fan of. So I would always put on 80s rock or 70s, and we would really jam out on Sunday mornings. And a lot of them genuinely appreciated that I was playing that type of music because they were the group that wasn't wearing the headphones. I've noticed that the older folks actually enjoyed listening to the music and talking more and interacting more with the people around them versus some of the younger folks with the headphones in. They're kind of just keeping to themselves, not really socializing as much. So the music can make all the difference for some people in their workout. There was this one time, Mike, big, huge, muscular guy. He forgot his headphones. I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll try to play some music that you like while you're out there on the gym floor. What do you like to listen to? He says, I don't care. Just play whatever. It doesn't really matter. I was like, okay. Well, when you hear a Taylor Swift song come on, just know that that one's for you. So it was the funniest thing. I queued up some like girly music. And whenever the song Taylor Swift Shake It Off came on, you should have seen him on the gym floor. This giant muscular guy doing shake it off, just shake it off, right out in the middle of the free weight area. It was so funny. But again, that's the type of banter that I really loved about working there. And so that's just a funny instance that happened with the music. And working in an office setting now that's a little more like professional. We're not exactly jamming out to music all day. So that's another thing that I really appreciated and that I really loved about Planet Fitness was the music and the Rockbot app. Thumbs up for that. Number 5, the 5th best thing about working for Planet Fitness was the free membership. Duh. They do give the employees, or at least they did when I was there, a free black card membership. So you got all the perks. You got the massage chairs, the hydro massage, which are amazing. I love the hydro massage. The tanning, if that's your thing and you want to tan. Also, you can bring a guest with you to work out if you want to bring somebody. So you've still got all of those really great perks with your free gym membership. So I was into fitness at the time, and well, I mean, I still am, but I was really appreciative of having the free membership and being able to take advantage of all the great equipment and everything that was offered at Planet Fitness. Okay, so we talked about the 5 most positive, the 5 best things. Let's move on to the 5 worst things about working for Planet Fitness. And for me, number 1, environmental burnout. Now, what I mean by that is even though you have the free membership, after you've been working for 8 hours or 9 hours if you're a manager, the last thing sometimes you want to do is stick around for an extra hour to do your workout. You've already been there all day. Sometimes you're tired. Maybe it was a stressful day that day. Sometimes you just don't feel like staying and working out or showing up early and working out beforehand. Sometimes you just need to change it up, be in a new environment, and you can definitely feel burned out being in the same place for 10, 11 hours a day. I'm sure some of you know what I mean. While I enjoyed working out there were some times that I would have quite a few workout interruptions. And being a staff member, all the members know you. And while I love socializing and I love talking to the members, like I said, that was my favorite part. Sometimes in the middle of a workout is just not the best time to stop and socialize. You want to move on to the next workout. You don't want to lose your pump that you got. So a lot of the members, that they would come up and talk to me for long periods of time in the middle of my workout was kind of frustrating. At the beginning or the end was wonderful. But when I'm in the zone, in the middle of my workout, it was frustrating to stop and have a long conversation with somebody. Also, you would get interrupted, or at least I would get interrupted by members with complaints. Somebody might say, oh, there's a bottle empty over there at the sanitation station, or maybe there's a paper towel empty, or they have a question about their annual membership fee. And so they would actually come up to me during my workout and ask me these questions. And I would politely refer them to the staff members at the front desk and let them know that they are perfectly equipped to help them navigate through this question. But people they would come up during my workout to ask me work questions. So that was kind of frustrating sometimes. Or even the staff, if they were having trouble at the front desk or something, or had a question they were unsure about, they would come ask me during my workout. And of course I wanted to help. I really wanted to be helpful and, get everybody through their frustrations. But in turn, that frustrated me during my workout. The other part is that I couldn't relax during the workout. I would forever be noticing like, oh, this could be cleaned a little bit better, or, oh, there's a piece of equipment somebody didn't put away, or, oh, this bottle needs refilling. I would just be noticing even these things that could be fixed or cleaned or could be a little bit better. So I wasn't exactly just relaxing and truly focusing on myself and my workout because of all these little things. Now, somebody else might be able to let that stuff go and not think about those things, but I really struggled with that and wasn't able to ignore those things and just get a good workout in. So, free membership, great. Environmental burnout and workout interruptions, the worst. Number 2, the second worst thing about working at Planet Fitness is low pay. The starting rate for a full-time position is $12 an hour, which I understand is not the worst, the most low-paying job, but it's also not great. And especially when I was in management, it was really difficult to attain and keep great workers because they would get opportunities other places that were paying more. And even if they loved their job and they loved working at Planet Fitness, it just didn't pay enough. I had one worker in particular that I remember specifically. She was amazing. She was the sweetest person. Her cleaning was great. The customer service was great. She interacted with all the coworkers great. I mean, just well-rounded, amazing person, an amazing staff member. But she got an offer somewhere else, making $3 an hour more than what she was making at Planet Fitness, and we weren't able to give her that raise and match what she was being offered somewhere else. So I don't blame her for trying to put herself in a better situation financially, but that sucked. I enjoyed having her on our team, and to lose somebody that was so amazing because of the pay was really unfortunate. So I just wish Planet Fitness maybe offered a little bit more incentive financially to attract and keep really good staff members. Number 3, the third worst part about working at Planet Fitness for me was the Planet Fitness app transition specifically. So during the time that I worked there, the company decided to transition from using key tags to check in, like the little key fobs that you put on your key ring, a little card. They switched from that to the app on your phone. Now, the Planet Fitness app had a lot of really cool features, one of them being your check-in card. And a lot of folks did not like that. A lot of our older clientele specifically did not want to give up their little key tags, and they did not want to bring their phone into the gym. And I get it. There are a lot of folks that use that workout time and that gym time to escape the outside world. That's like their Zen time almost, is to escape the outside world. So if they brought their phone in, they felt like they're just bringing that stress with them when they come into the gym. Now, a lot of younger people don't feel that way. A lot of folks, we live on our phones. We're on our phones all the time for everything. So for some people, it was not a big deal. And then for others, it was a struggle. I had many arguments about not giving someone the key tag. We were not allowed anymore to give someone a new little key tag. They stopped offering them to the clubs for us to give to people. There was even a point which we weren't supposed to do this, but I would even tell people, hey, do you have like a little Lowe's card, Food Lion, some other kind of barcode that I can attach to your membership? So then they were able to still use a little key fob, a little key tag, even though it wasn't Planet Fitness. But upper management would fuss at us if our app percentage, the usage of the app, was not high enough or wasn't growing, because the company as a whole was really pushing the app. So they really wanted us to promote the app and get everyone switched over to using that system, which was very difficult at the time. Also, in the same world of technology and the app, they switched the sign-up process to being just on your phone. The great part of that is if somebody used the app to sign up for their membership, they already have the app, they already have their scan tag, everything's already set up. But for folks specifically that struggle a little bit more with technology, might need a little extra assistance in going through that process, which was fine. And it took the burden of potential error off of the employee and put that onto the members. So if you are unaware about signing up for Planet Fitness, you have to provide your bank information, which is a whole nother rabbit hole. But you have to give your account number and your routing number for a checking account in order to link to your membership. I think that's because you can't cancel it like you could a credit card. But anyways, if an employee was filling out that information and we made an error, that was really bad. But if that could be put onto the members, so if they made a mistake, then it was essentially like not our problem if they made the mistake. I mean, I kind of understand why they did that, but again, the folks that were struggling with the technology, it was very difficult for those people. So I did not necessarily enjoy the push, the very hard push that they were giving to switch to the technological stuff. Okay, number 4, the fourth worst thing about working for Planet Fitness, which is something you guys might expect, is enforcing policies. Some of you might know that Planet Fitness is known to have some different kind of policies than other gyms, but the first one I'm going to talk about is masks. And I know this is not currently applicable, but when I started in 2020, they were enforcing the mask policies, and everyone had to wear a mask in the gym while they were working out. It was awful. It was so bad. And I understand that working out with a mask on is not ideal in any way. It makes it harder to breathe. It's just not good. It's not fun. I was doing it. I worked out in the gym at that time with the mask on, and it was terrible. So I understood the complaints that I was getting from the members. I get it. But guess what? I had no authority to change that policy whatsoever. So when people were yelling at me about the mask policy, there was absolutely nothing I could do. I was just enforcing the policy that came from above me and taking the lashes from the people who didn't want to follow the policy. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle, and that is why it was one of the worst things about working at Planet Fitness. I do remember people would say, oh, well, over at Joe's gym, like, they're not wearing masks. And as much as I hated to say it, because I didn't want to lose members, especially ones I really cared about, because I was like, well, you may have to get a membership at Joe's gym. Like, if that's their policy and it aligns more with your personal needs, then you may have to make that switch. I would hate for you to do that. But I was unable to change the policy at Planet Fitness. So, I mean, we did lose quite a few members over the mask policy at the time. Now, a lot of them came back afterwards when no mask were required, but it was definitely a stressful and an interesting time for sure. Yeah. Oh, I will tell you about the day when the mask policy mandates were lifted. When it finally trickled down the chain and got to our club that the mask mandates were lifted, no more masks were required. I had a pretty full gym that day. There were quite a few people in there working out. And I remember going around to all the people and letting them know, hey, the mask policy just was lifted. You don't have to wear it if you don't want to. And there were so many people that took their masks off, swinging them around in the air, throwing them up in the air. They were ecstatic to not have to be wearing the mask while they were working out. We had some people that were upset on the other end that said, it's still not safe. Everyone should be wearing them. But the majority of people were very happy to see that policy end. And so was the staff, because it was a nightmare for us. The next policy that I would like to talk about is the cancellation policy for memberships. This was also the bane of my Planet Fitness existence. At the time, there were only 2 ways that you could cancel a membership. Number 1, in person at the club, you could sign a cancellation document. Seems easy enough, right? Number 2, if you couldn't come in person, you could send a certified letter to the club via the mail stating your intention to cancel. I cannot tell you how many times I got yelled at over the phone by people who were very upset that they couldn't cancel their membership online or over the phone. And I'm pretty sure that Planet Fitness may have done this on purpose to make it a little more difficult for you to cancel your membership, because we would have tons of people that never came to the gym in months and months and months and months. I think I even canceled somebody that hadn't come in like 4 years. They'd been paying for a membership for 4 years and hadn't stepped foot in the gym not one time. And then some people who hadn't been and were canceling their membership asked if they could get a refund. They're like, but I haven't used it. I want my money back. And I would compare it to Netflix, and I would say, well, if you have a Netflix subscription and you don't watch Netflix that month, you're still paying for it even if you didn't watch it. But of course, they didn't like that answer. I get it. But I think that Planet Fitness is working on updating that policy to where maybe you can cancel online. Because they would also say, well, if I can sign up online, why can't I cancel online? And I get it. I think you should be able to cancel online. So I definitely don't agree with the Planet Fitness cancellation policy, and I feel like they need to update that ASAP. The next policy that I want to mention is one that I actually do agree with. That is no gym bags on the floor. And this might seem trivial or like it's not a big deal. And maybe it's not a big deal if one or two people have a gym bag out on the floor. Not a big deal. What if all 100 people had a gym bag out on the floor? That would be a little bit ridiculous. And if you're going to let one person do it or two people do it, then you have to let everybody do it. So I agree with this one. I feel like when you bring a bag to the gym, just put it in a locker, leave it in your car, but don't have it out on the gym floor. It actually happened at a different club, not my club, thank goodness, but someone left a gym bag out on the floor, and then another person, not their bag, tripped over the bag and face planted into a piece of equipment. It was terrible. They broke their nose. They busted out some of their teeth. It was really, really bad. So also for that reason, I think for safety, it's a good idea to just not have the bags out on the floor. That's the best policy, in my opinion. The last policy I'll mention, which is kind of a conglomerate of policies, is the No-lunks policy. Now, this includes, but is not limited to, dropping and slamming weights, grunting, string tank tops, gallon water jugs. All of that kind of falls under the No-lunks category. Now, if you watched my workout video where you see me in my personal gym space, I may be guilty of some of these lunk behaviors, but I'm in my personal gym space. And so guess what? I can do whatever I want there. But when you're in a public gym space, you have to respect the rules of that gym. So if that gym says no slamming weights, just don't slam the weights. Or go to a gym that does allow slamming in the weights. So, I mean, that's, up to you. But I appreciate the beginner-friendly atmosphere that Planet Fitness tries to create by putting in place the, no-lunk rules. When I first started working out, I did start at Planet Fitness, and I do feel that it's a very beginner-friendly gym. Because when I started, I was intimidated by the lunks. I didn't understand that culture. I didn't understand that behavior. I do now, but at the time, I felt intimidated by that. So if I had went to a different gym in the beginning, I may not have progressed like I did and be where I'm at now. I actually do remember canceling someone's membership, and I was like, oh my gosh, man, why are you canceling? I love seeing you every day. I hate for you to go. He says, well, I graduated. I was like, you graduated? What? He says, yeah, I'm just ready to move on to heavier weights, more free weights. Planet Fitness doesn't really offer free weight bench press and squat rack. You guys might know that, but it kind of lacks in the free weight area a little bit. So he was just ready to move on to a gym that offered more variety of equipment that aligned with his fitness goals. So I was like, oh my gosh, well, congratulations. I wish you all the best on your fitness journey. But he did say that he loved Planet Fitness as a starting point. And I think that's where a lot of people are at. And a lot of people appreciate that no-lunk beginner-friendly type atmosphere. So while I don't adhere to all those rules now, I understand why they exist. Now, enforcing those rules, on the other hand, was the worst. And that is why this is in the worst category. Because I hated having to enforce rules that I don't necessarily follow myself these days. When I had to go out and have conversations with people about slamming the weights or grunting, it just was not good. I didn't enjoy doing that part. I just did not enjoy doing that part. And sometimes they were very difficult conversations to have. So I don't miss having those difficult conversations. And as far as the no gallon jugs, I think they've also amended this rule since I worked there. But I had one guy in particular who came in. He said he wanted to sign up for a membership, but he came in with his gallon jug. He's sitting on the counter. First thing, right off the bat, I almost feel like he was just trying to get a reaction out of me, possibly. But I did mention before we started the sign-up process, I was just letting him know, hey, if you sign up with us, you aren't able to take your gallon jug out onto the gym floor. And oh my gosh, he went off on me. It was crazy. And I was like, hey, I can even, your first workout, if you're working out today, I'll give you a free water so that you're able to take water out on the gym floor with you. But that wasn't good enough. And then he says, well, what about that gallon jug behind you? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, that gallon jug right there. There was a large bottle of cleaning solution on the counter behind me. So he was comparing that bottle of cleaning solution and saying, well, if you have a gallon, why can't I have a gallon? So it was just this whole argument. And I said, I'm so sorry, but if this is a deal breaker for you and you need to have your gallon jug out on the floor, you may have to look for a membership at a place that allows you to do that. I'm so sorry. So he left. That was that. But it was a big deal, and it was kind of a stressful experience. Some people like that, I think, will just try to test you. With the dress code specifically, I remembered this one dad and his two sons, and they came in with one of the sons wearing Crocs. Now, at the time, Crocs were not allowed. You could not wear them to work out and couldn't wear them on the gym floor. And we didn't notice it right off the bat when they came in. But also, sometimes people have a bag with them. Maybe they're going to change in the locker room. You don't really know when they first come in. But I saw them out on the gym floor, so I went to approach them. I let them know, hey, no Crocs on the gym floor. You have to have athletic shoes. And he's like, oh, man, he didn't bring any other shoes. Can he just do it today? And honestly, I just didn't want the argument. I just didn't feel like arguing with them that day. And I said, listen, we're not supposed to. But if you don't tell, I won't tell. And for today only today, I'll let you work out in these Crocs. But next time, you have to be wearing athletic shoes. So fast forward to the next time they come in. And I see them all walking on the treadmill together, dad and his two sons. And the kid has Crocs on again. So I go over to the treadmills. I'm like, hey, hope you guys are doing great. But do you guys remember the last time we had a conversation about the Crocs? And the dad says, oh yeah, we just wanted to see what you would say. I didn't think you'd actually call us out on it. We just wanted to see if you would say anything. I was like, buddy, like, but we had this conversation last time. And I was like, if he doesn't have shoes to change into today, he's welcome to wait in the lobby for you guys to finish your workout. And dad says, oh no, he brought tennis shoes just in case, but we just wanted to see if you'd say anything. I'm like, what a jerk. What a jerk, just to like break the rules just to see if I would come out and say anything to them. So that kind of behavior I did not appreciate. So enforcing the policies definitely one of the worst things about working at Planet Fitness. And number 5, the last worst thing about working at Planet Fitness was, drumroll, the infamous lunk alarm. That's right. I hated the lunk alarm. And the special secret, I will tell you, there is no sensors in the floor if you drop weights. There is no sound sensors if you grunt too loudly. But what there is a switch behind the desk that is controlled by the Planet Fitness staff. That's right. We are the ones that would lunk alarm you guys. It was just a light switch, and so when you flip it up, it's like, woo! But I hated it. It was so loud. It was incredibly loud. It would disrupt the whole gym. So it kind of like, you'd see some people like, oh my gosh, the lunk alarm. It would scare you when it first went off because of how loud it was. And then some people would be like, okay, who was it? Who was it? Was it me or was it that guy? So people would be looking around trying to figure out who the lunk is, or they would know exactly who it is, and everyone would be pointing like, oh yeah, it's that guy over there. But personally, I just didn't feel like it was the best way to address that kind of lunk behavior. Even though I didn't enjoy having those types of conversations, I just feel like the most personal and most professional way to handle it was just to have that conversation with the person one-on-one, let them know like what they were doing didn't fit the policy, and ask them if they could tone it down a little bit. And usually I had a lot of success in doing that. Not always, but a lot of times people understood and they were pretty chill about it. Most of the time. So, even though, like I said, it sucked addressing it, I just feel like the lunk alarm was not the best way to address that behavior. Now, I would use it sometimes. There were occasions where I was super busy up at the desk, the phone's ringing, members need help, somebody's signing up for a membership, and I just didn't have the time to get out onto the gym floor to go talk to that person. So, just give a little, just a little bit, just real quick, real light, just to kind of try to draw attention to the person, like, hey, cut it off, or, stop it out there. But if I had the time and I wasn't busy, I would always go and just have a conversation with the person instead of using the super loud, super annoying lunk alarm. So I hated the lunk alarm. That was one of the worst things about working at Planet Fitness. Overall, despite the negatives, I really enjoyed working at Planet Fitness, and I have so many more stories, good and bad, that I could share with you guys. So let me know in the comments if that is something you'd be interested in hearing. Do we need a Planet Fitness Life Part 2? And tell me about your fitness journeys. I really want to hear if you've ever worked out at a Planet Fitness, what your experience was, or if there's another gym that you really love that you want to tell us about. But thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video for Vlogmania, Mania. Goodbye!